So we are privileged to have a very distinguished guest with us.
Thank you,
Uh,
Anandji.
his name is Jörn, and he's from Germany, a very deep meditator. And and we thought of doing a conversation on something related to meditation. And Jörn had something in mind.
Yes, yes.
So maybe you can start.
Thank you, Anandji. Thank you for letting me being here with you. And yeah, I'm always happy to have a conversation with you and throwing light on different topics. And today I would like to ask you if you can share your perspective on awakening or enlightenment or liberation or nirvana. We have so many
Mm,
words for the event of waking up, awakening, liberation, and enlightenment. The books mm, describe it as a big event sometimes, and for us it feels so far away, and it takes us years of studying, maybe lifetimes, many lifetimes, to reach the goal of awakening. Mm, for me, sometimes it feels more natural and not far away
yeah.
or so mystical, more non exotic. But what is your perspective on awakening, enlightenment?
Okay, I have a skeptical kind of approach
Hmm.
towards this because I don't know what awakening really means or what samadhi means. I mean, I can get verbal information from books, but that doesn't convince.
That's what I feel.
Yeah. So whatever it is, uh, firstly, I should be able to experience it, and secondly, it should be useful in my day-to-day life. So when we start meditating, suppose I have some kind of anxiety. So what I do is I just sit and meditate. Then after some minutes, say after 20 minutes, half an hour, I feel relaxed. So this means that it is taking me in the right direction. So I'm relaxed. And when I'm already relaxed and then I start meditating, then sometimes there is this blank state, no thought for some time, and that feels very good. And so that gives me the faith that probably it is possible with practice to have this blank state, nothingness kind of state, no thought state, for a very, very long time. And if it is for even for 2 minutes, I think um, you can feel it in your body. Your body begins to vibrate. And so that gives me the faith that probably there is something. Uh, what it will exactly feel like, I don't know. But because of these initial experiences, the experiences of these blank states uh, for whatever length of time, not very long, uh, so that gives me the faith that yes, there may be a state when you are not thinking most of the time throughout the day, and you are doing everything that needs to be done, but there is no irrelevant thinking, no superfluous thinking. At a very, very high state, I think it is possible. And I also noticed that when you are doing some work, so there is no thought. Like when I make tea in the morning, I realized it just 2 days back. I went to the kitchen. This was very early, maybe 2:30 in the night, and so then I looked around for a pan and the glass that I use, steel glass for tea and other things. And so I some plan came to my mind that I will take some water from this container and do this and this and this, and there was no words. This was coming without words. Then I realized that these words begin to come when you add your imagination, something that is not there. So it is possible, I think, to do most of your things without superfluous thinking, including a conversation like this. Like these words are coming spontaneously. If I'm not worried, the moment I begin to have anxiety, is it the right thing to say? Should I say this? Should I say that? Then there is another voice. Then there is this whatever, this another stream of thinking interfering with this action. So I think it is possible to live that way, and that would be a very high energy state, and we can call it whatever you like, enlightenment or whatever, without making it so esoteric that you need to have matted hair and sitting in a cave for 20 years and not interacting with people or day-to-day activities,
Hmm.
not sitting on a bus, not going to office. These are for ordinary people, and I'm enlightened. I need to sit high up um, on some pedestal talking to people or in a cave, or that is the image that comes to mind. So most people therefore think that it is something unachievable, even if they believe in it, this enlightenment or whatever, although they don't know what that means. Um, but if we begin uh, from this end, yeah, we think a lot most of the time. Many times we are depressed, miserable. There is sadness. There's all kinds of emotions, and not stable, confused. And is there a way to to be not confused, to be not frustrated? And then we discover that meditation helps. So that I think will convince people that it is taking them in the right
Hmm.
direction.
Would you? What do you think about if I say or if I ask awakening that it leads to a state which is established in the background and keeps on staying in the background while I'm still interacting with the world. I'm cooking my tea in the morning, but in the background is a new reality established, and this world reality is no longer my home. It doesn't feel home anymore, but there is a deeper reality which I could connect to, and let's call it awakening experience or enlightenment. And from now on, it is establishing in the background, and in the worldly reality, I'm now operating. I keep on operating because I won't disappear and dissolve into the
Hmm.
air, but I'm living out of a deeper truth. Could
Yeah,
could
yeah.
this be something where we could say this can be a awakening into the deepest truth.
Hmm.
And from now on, I'm operating and cooking my tea. I stay with your example from this state without much thinking,
Hmm.
without using words.
Hmm.
Is there a deeper truth from the moment of awakening, of enlightenment, establishing, let's call it, in the background?
I think so. And this is what I proposed in my book, Dance of the Bee. So, there, what I'm saying is this is your brain, and then behind the brain, this is mind, and it has no end. So, there is no boundary. And the brain is probably like it is choked because not washed maybe for years. So it doesn't let much of the mind pass through it. But through meditation, we begin to wash it, or yeah. So now it has more gaps. It is more receptive. The brain is more receptive. The Krishnamurti used to say the brain needs to be ordered. It has to have order in it in order to be able to receive something that is immense. So something like what you are saying. So now that the mind is more accessible and there is this immense energy that you can feel, and then that energy begins to take over. You don't need to do much because in mystical literature they say, I am your servant, O Lord, you tell me what to do. So this you, I think, is the mind, what we are calling mind. And mind, you can call it Brahma, you can call it consciousness, and that is the infinite source of intelligence and everything else, and it can now begin to guide the brain once the brain is receptive. So then there is no brain in between. The brain is quiet, like a servant, and the mind is interacting through your brain with the world. Uh, so then, yes, you can have a kind of feeling that it's happening on its own. I'm just a vehicle. I'm ready to do what I need to do, but it is difficult to say I'm doing it. There is something else that
Uh,
is making me do it.
yeah. And it might be the organism now is doing what is needed from moment to moment rather than big thinking processes, planning processes, reasoning processes might fall apart. And it is the organism, the body mind organism, navigating from moment to moment as the truth or God or Brahma is guiding it,
Right, right, right. Yeah,
if I understand
yeah,
you
yeah,
in
yeah,
the right way.
yeah. So when you are high, then that is the kind of feeling. Once you become low, then which means that now the brain is less receptive, and then you can fall into the trap of anxiety or what will happen and all of that, all the worries,
Yeah.
because we are in between. But if somebody is totally there, like these great mystics, so probably they don't have those moments much. They may have for a few seconds the moments of anxiety, but I think they are most of the time connected with this higher reality, and therefore they are cool. Whatever happens outside, they are cool.
And do you think it is something very exotic or something very special, or does it feel for you more natural and normal and ever present, because sometimes when I read it, it sounds like there is celestial
Mhm.
sounds and lights and rays, and it lifts the whole person up, and there's something
Mhm.
special. Or is it maybe even a very ordinary, normal, total natural presence, and it was maybe always there?
Yeah, I would say that is the healthy and therefore more natural state. And when we are away from that reality, then what people call practical reality, the real world. So this is a bit sick state of being. And because it is sick, so there is effort. And because you can't access this infinite field of intelligence, whatever you may call it, then you are left alone. So then there is this anxiety and worry because I have to live now my life. I'm left to my own resources,
Hmm.
and my resources are my memory, my past experiences. There is now nothing new because new comes from the mind. So it is, in fact, that is now when we are beginning to be natural, and yes, whatever is natural, simple, and
And it can't be in a distance of time, and it can't be in a distance of space.
so I think, yeah, it is natural. It is more natural than what we generally call natural.
Yeah.
um, Once we experience it, then it begins to feel very, very natural and healthy. And there may be a feeling that it was already there. It took me so long.
Wow, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wonderful to hear that we don't have to run far and sit for lifetimes in caves, but to discover that it was always there and
Mm,
it is here and now. But that leads me to the question, how do I access to the deepest truth
mm,
if it's here and now? Because I'm so lost in the surface of the world with all its
mm,
informations and
mm,
this meditation technique, and try this, and no, I throw it all in the bin because it catches me the surface of life. But if it's here and now, that's the conclusion which I get already. How do I access in a straight, clear way to the deepest truth?
mm. Yeah, the short answer is get rid of your memory.
That's easy said.
Easier said than done. Yeah. So, if we had a way of taking another route and not the route of memory, like you have to go from this point to some other point, and there is a city in between, the city of memory, but there is also a bypass. So you take the bypass. In other words, we can choose to stay in timelessness uh, rather than in time. How do we do that? So we will have to practice it. That is what meditation is all about.
If you would guide me in 3 minutes into a practical meditation practice,
Mhm,
which is the bypass, what,
mhm,
how would you guide me? What do I need to do to let my memories and concepts go?
mhm.
What is needed?
Yeah, so this I like this Buddhist way, vipassana. The shortest way that some people like J. Krishnamurti suggest, they say watch the stream of thoughts, and then thoughts will stop. And once thoughts stop, you are out of memory and out of time. But I think most people are not ready for that. They don't have that much energy. So, this Buddhist way is you begin by training your mind to stay in the present moment. And present moment means my experience of reality right now. What can I experience? So I can feel my body. So that is a real experience. I can feel my breath. And if I stay with this, feeling my body, some people can't feel their body, so they can feel the breath. It is a way of training the mind to stay uh, in the now. And if I continue doing this in an effortless way, then there are no thoughts for a long, long time. Uh, I mean, thoughts come and go, but they don't have the same power as they used to have before. I don't get carried away by them, and that is a good beginning. And then slowly, slowly, I discover that the more I feel my body and maybe sensations in the body, the less thoughts there are in the mind. And then I also become aware of thoughts coming and going along with the body. So, being aware of the body, also be aware of this empty space in the mind between thoughts. One thought comes and goes away, another thought hasn't come yet. So, there is this empty space. So, if I can feel my body and also this empty space, and once I get a taste of this empty space, I can look for empty spaces uh, even in my actions. For example, uh, I want to put on my cap, and suddenly I remember. So from here to here, is there a thought? There was no thought. So I moved my hand in emptiness. Now let me see if there is a thought. I am going to put it on. So it will take a few seconds. I'm aware of my body, but I want to know if I can stay with emptiness without effort. There were no words. This became possible because I was already very aware. But most of the time, we don't have that level of awareness because already something is going on. There is a story going on, and then obsessed with that story, I'm also acting here. Suppose I'm thinking of tomorrow I have to go to school and then I have to teach fractions to eighth graders. So what I will do, I will teach with the cap is here again. I want to put on the cap, and I'm thinking. So tomorrow, 1/2 plus 1/3. So I will take a A4 paper. I will fold it like this, and sometimes I even forget what I was going to do because I'm so lost. So I think if we train ourselves to not think, I have to teach tomorrow. Is there a problem? Why are you thinking now? Or is it that you don't know it properly? Even then, you sit and work it out. But right now, you are going to put on the cap. So you don't need to think about fractions. So this comes with training, I think. Being more and more aware, and then that begins to make us more and more intelligent, means our brain is able to access more and more of mind and re-establish connection with the mind again and again. And if we continue doing that, then we probably will start becoming spontaneous. If I have to teach tomorrow, I won't think now, because uh, we will see whatever happens, we will see it there. So I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but it is possible to live spontaneously without doing much preparation before.
Remaining, but remaining aware.
Remaining aware.
Yeah, this one, that's what I pick
Yeah, yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
The awareness, when I hear you, is very present
Mm.
in every action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does not necessarily need words and big workouts. That is the spontaneous action in awareness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I feel also that even a thought is not a big problem,
Mm-hmm.
because in general a thought has not to be pushed away,
Mm-hmm.
because if we are aware of thoughts, then they can't create any
Right,
problems.
right.
Then I'm detached
Yeah, yeah.
from the thoughts. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even my thought.
Mm-hmm.
It is a thought arising. I'm adding this because a long time I tried to avoid thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
is impossible. The
Mm-hmm.
mind gets still to some extent, but I can't push away or
Mm-hmm.
avoid or try to get no thoughts. I have to
Mm-hmm.
learn to handle the thoughts
Mm-hmm.
with awareness,
I
and
have
then they
an
get quieter.
I have an analogy for this.
Oh, yeah.
There is it's your house, and this is the door, and you are sitting at the door, and there are thieves all around, and they enter the house when you are either sleeping or dozing or lost in something. So they are looking into your eyes, waiting for the time when you become less aware, and then they enter. And then many times we realize when the thief is running away with your things. But if you are vigilant, if you are aware all the time and relaxed, all you have to do is just keep your eyes open. And then the thieves, they are lurking in the corners. So they just they look at you, but you are awake. So they may be there. You may see them at a distance, but they are harmless.
Yeah, we can.
Something like that.
Yeah, I have a similar one. We can even say to the thieves, hey, you can help yourself and make a cup of tea. I don't mind,
Yeah,
but after you finish it, you have to go because I'm awake or I'm
yeah, yeah,
aware.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
help yourself with tea and coffee, but then you go.
Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Mm.
Yeah, Anand,
Mm. Mm.
it is profound. I mean, our conversation, it was meeting me deeply. It is not so easy to grasp. I have to ponder on it for some time,
Mm-hmm.
and but I'm very positive that awakening or enlightenment or name it, samadhi, is possible in
Mm-hmm.
this life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not far. It's not somewhere. It's here and now, and I understand that with meditation practice in a proper way, we find our access to it.
Right, right, right,
Thank you
right.
so much
Yeah,
for
yeah. Thank
clarifying and throwing a light
you.
on yeah, I feel the one of the most important topics for a human, because otherwise we will be jumping like monkeys
Right.
through the world.
Yeah.
But our full potential means to awake,
Right. Right. Right.
to
Right.
see how things really are and not
Mm-hmm.
as they seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Anandji, and
No,
I'm
thank
looking
you also.
forward to meet you soon again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you.